Hey guys, welcome back to my vlog. This week we're going to do something a little bit different. I've never done anything like this before, especially not on this channel. It's a new year, let's try some new things, etc, etc, etc. Not that much actually happened this week, to give you some context of why I'm actually doing this. I had a lot of admin stuff to do, like accounting. Any of you are self-employed, you'll know that you've got to have your tax return done by the end of the month, and I've been sort of catching up on that and getting all that stuff done. And honestly, it's just been quite boring vlog material. So I thought I'd do a Q&A, and I told you guys on Twitter that I was doing a Q&A, and lots of you sending questions. Thanks for doing that. And without further ado, I'm gonna answer your burning questions from Twitter. Let's see what you've asked me. Okay, so this is from @ChrisWalker59. If a fork is made from gold, is it still called silverware? And he put silverware in quotation marks, like silverware. Okay, Chris, I guess I'm your personal fucking Wikipedia. Wikipedia silverware. Let's have a look at what it actually is. Okay, so it can either mean household silver, which includes tableware, cutlery, and candlesticks, or a sport or a sports trophy collection. Does it have to be made from silver? Does silverware have to be made from silver? Whether it's made of silver, stainless steel, or a silver-plated base metal, which actually implies that gold wouldn't really fit that criteria. So no, it's not. But I'm gonna do one final search, which is gold silverware. It's not a thing. You can get gold flatware. So basically, to answer your question, Chris, it's not called silverware. It would be called flatware. Modern_trash asks, when are you aiming to have a new album out? Now I'm assuming you mean Area 11. As soon as possible, really. We don't have an album written at the minute. We're writing an album. I reckon, hopefully we want to get one out by the end of this year. But it might not happen, but I think that's our current aim. So hopefully this year, which is crazy. @CowChopTV, Meg asks, will we ever get Mod Synth complete? I've been asked this a bunch of times already, and the answer's probably no, not for a very long time. I don't think we're going to put our energy into re-releasing the same album again with instrumentals like we did last time. So yeah, don't hold your breath for Modern Synth is complete. But if we're still a band in like 10 years time or 9 years time now, and we want to do a 10-year anniversary, that might be what it is, but who knows? @literally a ninja, Maya asks, why do you only do Q&As while I'm either having a guitar lesson or about to go out? Well, I'm filming this way after I asked that question, so I don't know if you're out or having a guitar lesson. Maybe you are. I don't know. I mean, that's weird. That actually raises a load of other further questions about how you know when I'm doing this Q&A. I don't know. Are you talking about previous Q&As, like when I've done a Reddit AMA? I guess it's just coincidence. Or you're timing your guitar lessons, or you're being out whenever I'm doing one of these things. In which case, I guess that, and if that's a problem, don't do that. @Lewis'sFail asks, give us some gig memories, ... Some cool moments or notable shows. I think the best memory I have from gigging is doing our London show on the last tour, because it was a huge stage, huge room, loads of people, crazy mosh pits. I got the shit beaten out of me in the crowd at one point. It was really, really good. Probably that. But then every time this question's asked, we've always done a better gig. So it gets better and better every time we tour. So next tour I'll probably give you a whole different answer. And I can't say this word, but I'm going to try my best. RuaridW asks, see, that's an interesting name. I think that's from something. Asks for someone, it might be just their name. So sorry if it is. Asks, for someone who wants to get into music production, what software do you suggest people start with? If you want to get into music production nowadays, it doesn't really matter what you start with. What matters more is that you have a desire to want to do it, and you're willing to kind of experiment, fail a bunch, and then eventually succeed. However, I think the question you're asking me is what is like a cheap way to start producing music? I mean, the cheapest way is to get a copy of Audacity and just record yourself singing and playing a guitar or something like that. Which technically is music production, but I think you're talking about more multi-track recording. So I'd say your kind of entry-level, cheapest systems you can get are probably something like Fruity Loops, or it's called FL Studio now, or Cubase, something like that. Or if you're on a Mac, just use GarageBand because it comes built in, or Logic Pro. To be honest, something like 100 quid. It's pretty cheap, so. Something like that, and then just use the built-in sounds for a bit until you've got a good handle on it, and then you can really start getting into the minefield, which is third-party software and plugins and virtual instruments, which is fun, but, you know, crazy if you don't know what you're doing. At Spencer Job, or is that Job? Job or Job, I don't know, asks, how do you use your Akai MPK Mini in the recording studio and on tour? I don't actually use it in the studio at all. It was bought just for live, and I use it for triggering certain things and playing synths. It also controls the start and stop of like backings and things like that. And we have like loads of loops set up where like it gets locked into a loop between songs, and if I press a button, it'll jump out the loop. So yeah, things like that basically. At floppyfish182, Amy Rogerson asks, if you could make a band with anyone in the world, who would you have and who would play what? That is a great question, and and I can't include Area 11 members. So it would be me. I'd be in the band because I'd want to play, and I'd be playing bass guitar. Bass guitar is a very technical instrument, but it's just so much fun to play. I have fun playing the bass guitar, so I'd be playing bass, and I'd be doing backing vocals. Now, the lead vocalist would be Cedric from At the Drive-In and the Mars Volta, because I think he's the greatest vocalist of all time. And I think I could harmonize with him and stuff, and that'd be fun. On drums, we'd have Dave Grohl. And I'd probably have Omar from the Mars Volta on guitars. He's really creative, really good producer. And we'd just be a four-piece, and we'd just play, like, really dirty kind of, like, almost like garage music. It'd just be really, really fuzzy and distorted, but with loads of crazy guitars going on top. So my guitar, I'd be kind of playing like a Death from Above style bass, where it'd have like an octave pedal and loads of buzz, like fuzz, and it'd be like, and the drums would just be like kicking it, because Dave Grohl's on the drums, would be like, oh yeah, we'd have Trent Reznor on keys as well. Trent Reznor would be playing keys and doing like kind of backing shouts now and again, a bit like the guy from the Automatic used to do, but less annoying. And he'd just be like doing like really dirty organ sounds, like kind of like grimy organs. And then like Cedric would just be floating over the top of it, and it would just be like this horrible sound, or like kind of really mean sound with like a beautiful voice over the top. Okay, Cookie Dragon 257, or Alice to her friends, asks, who would you fuck, marry, kill out of Parv, Kogi, and Leo? Okay, marry Leo, fuck Kogi, kill Parv. I don't want to do that though. Or do I? I Might Be Tash, who I think might be Tash, asks, why do you always fuck up our selfies together? And then includes a picture of a selfie. That's quite rude. That's a good selfie. Fuck you. And then she's hitting me back with another message which says, do you miss the Santa hat I stole from you at the Thekla gig in December? Well, joke's on you, we stole that from the dressing room, so the police are now on their way. Also, what's with people stealing hats at our gig? This one time someone stole Parv's hat and it was like his favourite hat and he's still not got over it. And I can understand why. Don't steal things from us at shows, jeez. At Alice Kazam _ asks, what makes you happiest? That's a really good question, because I'm not sure I'm capable of feeling happiness anymore, but I must say I feel pretty good when I've completed a project, because while I'm doing projects, whatever they may be, I can't sleep, eat, or really think about anything else other than the project, so I get really sad. What makes me happiest? God, I don't know. Being with my friends when there's no responsibility, as in I'm not thinking about leaving to go and do some work because I feel really guilty. But that doesn't happen very often. So I guess, yeah, those times. And I can't remember the last time I felt like that. The King of Carp asks, how did you learn to write music? That's from Everett. I taught myself. I don't think anyone, I mean, I had music lessons as in how to read notation and things like that, but I've never had songwriting lessons or lessons in how to compose. That's all just been my own tinkering. I've never really thought about this, but I've just come up with a theory. And when I was a kid, to get music was a lot harder, especially when you were a really little kid, because you've got no money, and the only way to get music is to have money, because you had to go and buy a CD. But you could hear it on the radio, and a lot of the time, unless you were really on it with a tape player and you could record it, you couldn't, you know, sometimes you just hear a song one time on Top of the Pops, and then that was it. And then, so I think I really got into it because I liked, these songs would get stuck in my head, and then I worked out how to play the little Casio keyboard we had at home to play the songs that I was hearing on the radio, but they wouldn't be quite right because I'd kind of, I wouldn't remember it very well, so it'd be kind of my own take on what it was, and I think that led to me writing my own songs that kind of sounded like that, and that led to me wanting to write songs, yeah. Stub Out the Stars asks, what is your opinion on fanfiction? Brackets, about you / or others. Well, that really covers everything, doesn't it? Fanfiction about me or others. It's great that people are talking about us in whatever way they want to do it, that they feel so invested in us as people or like musicians or characters or whatever it happens to be. to sort of like create their own universes where we live in it. It's definitely not what I want. Like, it's not like when I started being a musician, I wasn't thinking, you know what, I can't wait for the fanfics. I think I was more excited about playing gigs, being rich, which one of those things has happened. But as far as fanfiction is concerned, yeah, I don't have a problem with it. It can get a bit weird when it's kind of sexual, but it is funny. Like, it is funny. It makes me laugh. It makes me laugh that people want to do that. Especially the sexual stuff. It's just hilarious. Like, you know, Leo and Kogi fucking, which is so common in it. For I've read, like, I mean, to be honest, I can't read much of it because you start reading it with the best intentions, like, oh, it's going to be entertaining. And then about, like, a minute in, you kind of start going, this is all a bit weird. Like, it's kind of like, that's not really, or you start critiquing it. So I'm going, I wouldn't say that in situation. If I walked in on Leo and Kogi fucking, I wouldn't act like that. I wouldn't be embarrassed. I'd be like, you know, whatever it happens to be. Viking Schism says, when's album 2 coming out? All we got was modern synthesis. You see, I can't actually be sure if this is a joke or not, but I'm going to assume it's a joke and just move on. What a terrible name for an album Album 2 would have been, by the way. Just for those people who were really disappointed that it wasn't called Album 2. __ Megan Jade asks, favorite thing you did in 2016 and something you're looking forward to in 2017? That's a great question. The best thing I did in 2016 was to put Modern Synthesis out. I think we were really, you know, it was a lot of hard work to get it there. We started that early 2015, so it was over a year of work that I'm very proud of because I really think it's very good. And I think we can do better, don't get me wrong, but I think it's very good. I think it's better than anything we did before. So that's, you know, mission complete. The thing I'm most looking forward to this year is probably playing some summer festivals, which is apparently what we're doing. Although we've had no confirmation and we can't announce anything. But hopefully we're going to be doing that and that's going to be fun. And then just, you know, taking the band to new places. At Ramones Gaming, which is a crazy mixture of two worlds there, I quite like, asks, if you had to tour but you couldn't have a tour in the US, England or Japan, where would you go? Just like mainland Europe, which I think we're going to do. At Double Edged Sword, spelled all sorts of wrong, asks, will you ever be famous? That's a very good question. Don't know. Define fame. At That Random Chloe asks, have you got any ideas for the next album? And will the next album be a different style to Modern Synthesis? I have got lots of ideas for the new album, and I've been sort of working on it, writing new songs that we all have. It has to be different because it'd be boring if it wasn't. But it's definitely like a progression from Modern Synthesis rather than just a whole new style. It's not like going to be a reggae album. At Ghost of Xenia asks, how did you come up with the word prelogue and what is its definition? Prelogue is because I had this thing called the prologue and we were trying to work out what came before the prologue. So we came up with the prelogue, but it is just a made up word. I like making up words. It's fun. I think Leo came up with it, to be honest. But it was a conversation between me and him when we kind of went, is that a thing? And then, yeah, it's a thing. So prelogue, it's just made a word. But it kind of means before the prologue. At Loomsian asks, have you ever owned a pet fish? I haven't, but my dad has. And in my Christmas vlog, which I think you can watch right now, it's a few episodes back, a couple of episodes back, you can see my dad's fish tank. He has loads of fish. Lost in Panda asks, can you play any instruments we may not know about? I can play the clarinet. I don't know if you know about that. Like, really well as well. Like, that was like my main instrument for years and years and years. I say really well. I probably can't play very well now. I can play the saxophone as well. It's a very similar instrument. At Lines Fade Out says, sweet or salted popcorn? Obviously salted popcorn. How don't you know that? Like, I don't keep that a secret. At Mizuki Ayu says, can you tell the difference between Martin's cats? Yeah, I can. Rachel Effects asks, turtles or tortoises? Definitely turtles. At Some Roman Dude asks, what's the weirdest / best thing anyone's had you sign? The best thing that anyone's had me sign was a fucking motorbike. Like, not a moped, not some shitty electric bike, like a full-on good motorbike outside a gig in Southampton. And it was at the Joiners and it was around the corner, and after the show they wanted me to come out and sign their motorbike, and it was cool as fuck. Alright, final question from at Will9609. Are Area 11 going to write any more anime-themed songs? :D. No. Cheers for watching this Q&A. Thanks for sending in all your questions. Sorry I couldn't get through every single one. There was fucking loads. I guess I'll see you guys next week. Remember, you can watch 2 episodes in the future over on Viewster. There's going to be a link in the description, and the little card's probably just popped up. Go ahead, check it out. 2 episodes, don't need an account. It's free. It's just a different website, but it's great. Loads of shit on there. It's all free. Don't need an account. Can get an account if you want. Don't need one. Just watch it for free. It's free. Fucking go do it. 2 episodes. Go fucking watch. See you later. Bye.